guys, welcome back to Raya Lexington, Raya Reviews, whatever we want to call it now. Today I am going to be diving into a discography that is completely new for me. I have never listened to this band's discography before. It's a pretty acclaimed band, pretty big band. I've heard a couple of their songs here and there, but I've never listened to their albums or dove into their discography, and that band is Radiohead. Now, I am eventually trying to get to all the major British bands, obviously some non-British bands as well. I just did a review of Garbage's debut album, which of course has a Scottish singer, is an American band with a Scottish singer. But here we are with Radiohead, a band that, just based on hearing their popular track Creep, I wouldn't really assume would be British. They don't really sound very British on a song like that. It sounds very grungy, kind of stylistic of the American kind of popular music that was coming out at the time. It was very downbeat, very grungy, kind of reminds me of like Pearl Jam, just sound-wise a bit, that kind of thing on a song like Creep. Which was their, most successful single, and it was a song which kind of broke them out into the mainstream. Now, I've heard very good things about a lot of Radiohead's later albums. I've not gotten around to listening to those yet, but I figured I would start at the beginning. I was going to go in order, so I listened to Pablo Honey, which is the debut record from Radiohead. Now, I don't have this album physically, because I just listened to this to try to determine how I was feeling about the band and the album. So, here we are with my first impressions of Radiohead. The band consists of Thom Yorke on vocals and guitar, Philip Selway on drums, Colin Greenwood on bass, Johnny Greenwood on lead guitar and piano, and Ed O'Brien on guitar and vocals. So, yeah, that's the lineup of Radiohead. I don't know too much about this band, or if they had, any major lineup changes or anything like that in the future, but I do know, that they are a very acclaimed and popular band, and I'm not sure if they're still releasing music. I think they released music, I know, up into the 2000s. It's gonna be hard for me to really say how long they continue to release music, but this is kind of one of the big British bands, one of the big 90s bands. I'm covering a lot of bands just overall. I'm trying to get to a lot of these kind of British and alternative kind of bands. And because I have always preferred the British alternative scene of this era to the American scene, no hate to the American alternative bands, and maybe I'll get some of those bands eventually, but as far as the British bands go, a lot of it's just kind of the style of singing. I always kind of preferred the British style of singing, and, I was definitely brought onto board with kind of 90s music in general by bands like Oasis, and that's kind of how I would be introduced, like The Verve and, that kind of thing. Coldplay, they're not really 90s, they're more 2000s, but, kind of a band that, I knew early on. It was kind of like, okay, yeah, this British band. And, how I feel about Coldplay is very, in terms of their albums, that's definitely something that could be discussed in a long thing, and I probably will get to Coldplay eventually. But, as far as this is concerned, I thought I would go into Radiohead and give my first impressions of Pablo Honey, and I'll say this is pretty solid. Honestly, the fact that it seems to only go up from here, that the next couple of albums seem to be even more acclaimed than this album, sounds like a good thing. Sounds we hope. I actually heard a couple singles from those two albums. The next album is The Bends. I've not listened to the album, but I did hear the song High and Dry. My dad played it for me. He said he knew that song, and I really liked it, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking out the next album. But as far as I'm concerned with this album, Pablo Honey, what did we get with this record? And I am pleased to say that I did enjoy this. It took a while, it took a little bit for it to kind of grow on me, or to kind of click with me. I wasn't, disliking it, but I was kind of finding this, whole sound of this to be, an interesting blend of, kind of grunge and early Britpop, and kind of, a little bit U2-ish in places, which is not a bad thing at all. I think U2's early 90s output was quite good. In fact, my favorite song on this, just getting straight into it, is Stop Whispering, and I really like the Bono thing that Thom Yorke's got going here on the vocals. It sounds, he's really doing the full kind of belting. It's a song that I just really enjoy listening to. Creep is obviously, you know, the, like, definitive self-loathing anthem. I mean, it's kind of, you know, it's absolutely, I get the impression that this song is, like, 100% played straight. You got something like Loser by Beck, and it's a little bit ironic, you kind of got that taste. Beck is another artist I plan on diving into. I know he's not British, but in terms of style, it's something I definitely want to talk about. You know, Creep, it's kind of the, you know, ultimate self-loathing anthem. It's just a song that, you know, man, I sure hate myself. I suck, and I want to be perfect for this person. And, you know, I'm in a place, you know, nowadays where I'm in a much healthier kind of relationship with myself, and I try to, you know, act in a way that I try to be more self-confident and, you know, but I think most days we end up, you know, a lot of people, you know, aim to be Liam Gallagher, and they end up as Beck, or Thom Yorke in this case, and you got this thing where you just end up being down on yourself, and it's very common, and in this song, it's basically, you know, just wanting, like, this perfect, like, girl he's looking at, and he just feels disgusted in his own skin, and it's kind of like, why am I here? What the fuck is going on? And, again, the, like, distortion on the song, it does sound very grungy. It's, you know, it's kind of incomprehensible, like, the lyrics themselves, there's a lot of, like, misheard lyrics for this. There's another song that I do think is just really solid. I'm really glad that this song came out. As far as some of the other songs are on this album, I really like the opener, You. Again, it's just this really nice kind of sound to it that I really enjoyed. Some of the songs that I was a little less hot on, stuff like How Do You. Oh, the song was pretty basic. Again, it did kind of give me that, like, early Britpop vibe from, like, back when I listened to that kind of music, and I do plan on getting to some of those bands as well. It's gonna be really interesting when I dive into Suede's discography. They're a band that I don't have a lot of familiarity with, but they keep popping up in weird places. Like, they seem to be a lot bigger than you'd think. Yeah, so, this whole thing... but I've got, you know, this kind of songs that sounds like that, which, you know, are okay. It's just kind of a basic song in comparison. Stuff like Ripcord, I really like that song, just the way it kind of goes. Prove Yourself is another song. You kind of got this, like, self-loathing kind of nature. And I really like the part at the end where, like, the guitars get, like, really heavy. But overall, it's a song that I'm not, like, crazy about. The last track is Blowout, another song, which just kind of has that, like, guitar blowout kind of feel to it. And, you know, it's alright, it's not one of my favorites, but I do like it. Some other great stuff on here, you've got, Vegetable. And he basically is just saying, like, I'm not gonna, you know, let other people, I'm not gonna control myself. I am not a vegetable, which is kind of a weird metaphor, but, you know, he's like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. I get the appeal of this, but it sounds really nice. I like the way the song sounds. Like I said, I really kind of like the way the vocals are on Ripcord. And another track I really like on this is Anyone Can Play Guitar, although I disagree with that title. I can't play guitar. Guitar is hard. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me, but I really like the guitar on this song, kind of in between, kind of on the verses, and kind of where York kind of lets out, and the part where he's like, he wants to be Jim Morrison, he just kind of lets out, and, you know, does that, and then the chorus is a lot more kind of upbeat, and he's like, you know, whatever's gonna happen to the world, I'm gonna stand on the beach with my guitar, it's like, da-da-da-da-da, and he kind of got that, like, weird, almost, like, Britpop-y sound to it again, which, you know, something that I can kind of have that appreciation for. Another song that I really, really liked on this album. And overall, just listening to this, like I said, I really enjoy the production. I don't think it's perfect. I think there's definitely a lot of potential for their production to improve. A lot of it feels kind of, a little bit, like, kind of swapped out, just kind of, like, very, like, not mushy, but kind of mushed together. Like, some of the stuff, sometimes it works. Like, a song like Creep, I understand kind of what they're going for with that. It's supposed to sound, like, grungy and weird. But, you know, as far as some of the production goes, I do wish it was a bit cleaner in places, but I think, you know, the next couple albums are going to go for that. And considering it was 1993, this was very much the sound of the era, which is something that I definitely understand. And overall, I think most of these songs ended up being really good. and just a lot of songs which feel very memorable, have decent hooks to them, Creep, you know, being that, like, great song, but I was really drawn toward I Said Anyone Can Play Guitar, You, I was really drawn toward those songs. My favorite is Stop Whispering. I also really like Thinking About You, which is a more kind of acoustic song. I really like that one as well. And Prove Yourself Again, just the way it kind of swells. I really, really like that about the song. And yeah, those really are my favorite tracks on the album. And overall, I thought this was a good listen. There weren't really any songs that I thought were, like, bad. It was just kind of a couple that were not as strong overall. But I'm definitely super excited to check out some of their other albums. So as far as that's concerned, I'm going to go with an 85 on this score, and I think it can only really go up from here, so that's a great start for a band. Not like an incredible debut, but still really solid. And anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like it, click like, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on my social media, and comment down below if there's any bands you want to see me cover, and I'll see you all next time with the Bends. Have a nice day. Guess